Jerry Lewis was born Joseph Levitch on March 16, in Newark, New Jersey to a Jewish family. His parents were Daniel "Danny" Levitch, a master of ceremonies and vaudevillian who performed under the stage name Danny Lewis, whose parents immigrated to the United States from the Russian Empire to New York, and Rachel Ray Levitch, a WR, radio pianist and Danny's music director from Warsaw. He developed a comedic routine called the Record Act, in which he mimed the lyrics of popular songs. While a phonograph played the songs offstage, he was given a chance to perform at a burlesque house that flopped. Unable to get any more shows, he worked at odd jobs to make ends meet. His father's friend Max Coleman helped him book a performance at Brown's Hotel in New York. This time his show was a big success and motivated him to further his career in this field. While performing at nightclubs in 1945, he met a singer, Dean Martin. This meeting proved to be fortuitous, and the two went on to form the comedic pair, Martin and Lewis, in 1946. Their initial routine consisted of Martin singing a song which Louis interrupted with ad-libbed insults. Lewis played the comedian while Martin served as the straight man. The pair developed a routine characterized by ad-libbing and impromptu jokes instead of planned rehearsals. By the late 1940s, the pair had a prominent national presence. The duo made many appearances on early live television in 1948, making their debut on Ed Sullivan's Toast of the Town. The very next year they had their own regular radio show called The Martin and Lewis Show. Paramount producer Hal Wallis had seen them in performance and was quite impressed by them. He booked them to a film contract, and Lewis and Martin made their big screen debut with My Friend Irma in 1949. Together, they starred in 16 films, including At War with the Army 1950, Living It Up 1954 and You're Never Too Young 1955, most of which became extremely popular. The famous duo also continued appearing on radio and television over the years. Their relationship became strained and their partnership ended in 1956. Hollywood or Bust was their last movie together. After ending their partnership, both the comedians embarked on solo careers. Louis appeared in his first film without Martin in 1957. The movie, titled The Delicate Delinquent, was a big hit and gave him the confidence to move on as a solo artist. He turned director with the 1960 film The Bellboy, which he also wrote and starred in over the next 3 decades. He directed and acted in several films like The Nutty Professor 1963, The Big Mouth 1967. One More Time, 1970 and Cracking Up 1983. He has also made several appearances on stage. He made his Broadway debut as a replacement cast member in the revival of the baseball musical Damn Yankees in 1994. Apart from the US, he is also a much respected artist all over Europe. He rose to international prominence as a part of the comedy duo Martin and Lewis, which he had formed with Dean Martin. The pair was the hottest act in America during the 1950s and used to perform in nightclubs before venturing into radio, television and films. They appeared together in 16 superhit movies. He was presented with the Jefferson Award for the Greatest Public Service, benefiting the disadvantaged. In June 1978, he was honored with the prestigious Hubert H. Humphrey Humanitarian Award in 1980. The award is given to individuals who best exemplify the ideals and courage of the late Vice President Louis. Wed Patty Palmer, a singer with Ted Fiorito, on October 3, 1944. They had 6 sons together. 5 biological: Gary Scott born 1956, Christopher born 1957, Anthony born 1959 and Joseph 1964 to 2009, and 1 adopted, Ronald born 1949. It was an interfaith marriage. Lewis was Jewish and Palmer was Catholic. He openly pursued relationships with other women and gave unapologetic interviews about his infidelity, revealing his affairs with Marilyn Monroe and Marlene Dietrich to People in 2011. Palmer filed for divorce from Lewis in 1980. After 35 years of marriage, citing Louis' extravagant spending and infidelity on his part, and it was finalized in 1983. All of Louis' children and grandchildren from his marriage to Palmer were excluded from inheriting any part of his estate. His eldest son Gary, publicly called his father a mean and evil person and said that Lewis never showed him or his siblings any love or care. Louis' second wife was Sandra Sandy Pitnick Hawkes, a professionally trained ballerina and stewardess who met Louis after winning a bit part in a dancing scene in his film, Hardly Working. They were wed on February 13, 1983 in Key Biscayne, Florida, and had one child together and adopted daughter named Danielle, born 1992. They were married for 34 years until his death in February 1990 for a man named Gary. Benson was revealed to have been stalking Louis and his family. Benson subsequently served 4 years in prison. In February 2022, Vanity Fair published a special issue detailing several women who accused Louis of various acts ranging from sexual harassment, sexual assault and verbal abuse. The claims come from 7 actresses who worked with him in the 1960s. These actresses were identified as Karen Sharp, Renee Taylor, Hope Holiday, Jill St. John, Connie Stevens, Anna Maria Albert Getty and Lainey. Kazan Lewis suffered from a number of chronic health problems, illnesses and addictions related both to aging and a back injury sustained in a comedic pratfall. The fall has been stated as being either from a piano while performing at the Sands Hotel and Casino on the Las Vegas Strip on March 20, 1965, or during an appearance on The Andy Williams Show. In its aftermath, Lewis became addicted to the painkiller Percodan for 13 years. He said he had been off the drug since 1978. In April 2002, Lewis had a Medtronic Synergy neurostimulator implanted in his back, which helped reduce the discomfort. He was one of the company's leading spokesmen. Louis suffered numerous heart problems throughout his life. He revealed in the 2011 documentary Method to the Madness of Jerry Lewis that he suffered his first heart attack at age 34. While filming Cinderfella in 1960. In December 1982 he had another heart attack. 2 months later, in February 1983, Lewis underwent open-heart double bypass surgery en route to San Diego from New York City on a cross-country commercial airline flight. On June 11, 2006, Lewis suffered his third heart attack. It was discovered that he had pneumonia as well as a severely damaged heart. He underwent a cardiac catheterization. Days after the heart attack, and 2 stents were inserted into one of his coronary arteries, which was 90% blocked. The surgery resulted in increased blood flow to his heart and allowed him to continue his rebound from earlier lung problems. Having the cardiac catheterization required him to cancel several major events from his schedule, but Louis fully recuperated in a matter of weeks. In 1999, Louis' Australian tour was cut short when he had to be hospitalized in Darwin with viral meningitis. He was ill for more than 5 months. It was reported in the Australian press that he had failed to pay his medical bills. However, Lewis maintained that the payment confusion was the fault of his health insurer. The resulting negative publicity caused him to sue his insurer for $100 million United States dollars. In addition to his decades-long heart problems, Lewis had prostate cancer, type 1 diabetes and pulmonary fibrosis. In the late 1990s, Lewis was treated with prednisone for pulmonary fibrosis, which caused considerable weight gain and a startling change in his appearance. On June 12, 2012, he was treated and released from a hospital after collapsing from hypoglycemia at a New York Friars Club event. This forced him to cancel a show in Sydney. In an October 2016 interview with Inside Edition, Lewis acknowledged that he might not star in any more films given his advanced age, while admitting through tears that he was afraid of dying as it would leave his wife and daughter alone. In June 2017, Lewis was hospitalized at a Las Vegas hospital for a urinary tract infection. Lewis died at his home in Las Vegas, Nevada on August 20, 2017 at the age of 91. The cause was end-stage cardiac disease and peripheral artery disease. Lewis was cremated in his will. Lewis left his estate to his second wife of 34 years, Sandy Pitnick, and their daughter, and explicitly disinherited his children from his first marriage and their children for children.